Back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. This is the channel Kung Tech Fu once again coming into you alive. This is the digital asset sensei himself, also known as the Pen Decker, bringing to you once again another edition of things you should know concerning getting generational wealth. Now today I got a blast from the past here. My boy Moonshot Max alerted me to something. Shout out to Moonshot Max. You know what I'm saying? Always on the case. And me and Moonshot, we go way back ever since I entered crypto. We were deeply into the ROI dApps, and I spent a good close to 4 years maybe into what's known as ROI dApps and DeFi, decentralized finance. I kind of changed my strategy a little bit because I didn't quite have the cash flow to play that game. Because if you're going to play the game of ROI dApps, what I'm saying, it's pretty much dealing with Ponzi schemes. Now, there's nothing wrong with a Ponzi scheme if you're the first money in, but if you are not the first money in, then you're playing a game of musical chairs. And when the music stops, only those who are first money in has a chair to sit in, ladies and gentlemen. So I started to realize that I would either break even or I would actually lose a little bit or this, that, and the other. So I says, hey, you know what? I can't really play this guy. I really don't have the capital to play this game. But I knew plenty of people who did, and I just couldn't catch them because by the time I got anywhere, the rug was pulled out from under me because a lot of these ROI dApps, they last a couple of weeks, they may last a couple of months, they may last a year, but eventually they fizzle out, ladies and gentlemen. So I said, I got to play the long game, you know. I got to treat this like I play chess, you know what I'm saying? And if you don't know anything about chess, ladies and gentlemen, let me just give you a quick little synopsis of where I'm going with this. And this will help you in the way you map out your strategy to obtain generational wealth. And basically, when you play a game of chess, who are beginners, they go in and they instantly start attacking. But once you learn the principles, you learn that attack is the last thing you do. You see, you open, you develop, you castle, meaning you get your king to safety so he can't be exploited. And then you attack after everybody is in position. You see? So I took that same approach, ladies and gentlemen, to finance because I had the wrong idea. I came in here trying to make money. Some of you might say, well, what's wrong with that? Isn't that why we're all here to make money? Yeah, of course. But like the chess player, if you come in and just attack, you are sure to lose. So with that, today, ladies and gentlemen, we are here and I want to bring your attention to a couple of tools that you're going to need along the way. You're going to need UPHOLD. You're going to need MEXC, you're going to need KRAKEN, and you're going to need KINESIS money, which is a legitimate and authentic place to get tokenized gold and silver, as well as being a crypto platform where you can on and off ramp your money into and out of tokenized gold and silver, which is fully redeemable, ladies and gentlemen. I would actually go to those websites and show you, but for some reason, whenever there's a lot of animation and stuff on these websites, what it does is it usually ends up knocking out my soundtrack on the video. And then I sit here and I talk for 10, 20, 30 minutes and the video's no good. So rather than take that chance, I'm just going to tell you about it. And if you want to view it, my referral link will be down in the description below. Okay. And one, that's a win-win situation because one, you get safe travels through the crypto space, so you're not going to some phishing or site where you're going to get hacked. Because if you look for it on your own, you could be derailed along the way. Because these hackers, they got a lot of little tricks to derail you. So when you use my referral links, you're going to get safe passage through the crypto space, and not only that, there's usually some sort of perks for you as well. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes there's perks for me, sometimes there's not. But my sole intention is to make sure you guys have safe passage through the crypto space, And then, of course, you got Caleb and Brown, ladies and gentlemen. Caleb and Brown will be your crypto broker, where you can not only have them place limit orders for you, you can not only have them give you financial advice, but you can custody your crypto there as well, so you don't have to worry about being hacked or somebody hacking your wallet. Okay. And then, of course, you have Kraken, which is another great place. I have been pleasantly surprised with Kraken. I made a conscious choice not to use them for some time, but one day I just went and said, you know what, let me try these guys out. And I KYC'd for it. And I must say, I have been impressed with Kraken. And even more impressive is that now Kraken has acquired what they call a Fed master account, which means that they can bypass the intermediaries when it comes to cashing out, fiat and or on and off ramping fiat. They are able to go direct, being that they have that. They're essentially a bank, ladies and gentlemen. So they were the first crypto company to acquire a Fed master account. So congratulations to them. So enough of that. If you look at the screen, on the screen here on X, formerly known as Twitter, we have something here called Asentum, and this is what we are bringing to your attention today, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm actually going to get involved with this because I like where this is going. And if you see there and you look and it says the post quantum JavaScript blockchain, and this is right on time for me because I'm in the act of learning, Linux myself, because that's what JavaScript is. JavaScript is Linux, ladies and gentlemen. And they have they have a couple of different expressions of Linux, JavaScript, Ubuntu, Zorin. I just downloaded Zorin, and I'll be using that at some point. And there's another one called Mint, I believe, MINT, which will probably be better for me, but yeah, whatever. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Linux is kind of like the hidden, unsung hero of the computing world because creators of things like Windows and Apple have always overshadowed, Linux. Actually, Apple kind of embraced Linux because that's the best place to do Linux if you're going to do it. But, Mr. Gates there, saying he kind of did some diabolical deeds to really, you know, shield public knowledge from Linux because Linux is free and Linux actually runs most of, you don't have to get a subscription and you don't have to pay a licensing fee or any of that. So, Mr. Gates and his Windows, he kind of made sure that most people never really got access to it. And he led a very long battle, against Linux or the suppression of Linux. But now it looks as if Linux is finally breaking free of the power of the oppressive you know, uh, Windows campaign and or Mr. Gates himself, first name being Bill. So yeah, so that's that, ladies and gentlemen. But Linux is something that if you're going to get into coding, and it's very nice to get into, ladies and gentlemen. But what they're doing here is they're creating this post-quantum JavaScript blockchain, and it says why we're building it. You know what I'm saying? And the testnet is going live today at the time of this video, which is May 4th, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to see if we can get a couple of these coins while they're on a test net, and we will simply wait on the mainnet and all of this, that, and the other. So let's take a quick look on over here. Let's just go on over to why we are building it. Okay. And the thesis basically is, there are problems with the current blockchains. The evidence they're real, and the one chain we're building to solve all three of these, you know, uh, outlandish problems or these upfront problems. And they want to build a chain, to take care of these things, as you can see, but they never had a reason to try hard to build. Nobody needed another chain, another layer two that does not do the exact same thing as the 73 others. Now, with quantum computing on the edge and becoming a reality, I think we actually do need a new chain. Everything below is my honest account of why, the three problems with the chains and why we have the evidence that they're real and what we're doing about it. So, yeah, you see, for those of you who don't know, and I'm sure most of you that are listening to the sound of my voice here do know because your finger is on the pulse, so to speak. Quantum computing will be a problem for most blockchains, within and or cryptocurrency itself. Now, you should also know in parallel with this that Bitcoin does not have this problem, okay? Because Bitcoin is not crypto. There is no cryptography inside of a Bitcoin. The only place cryptography is applied concerning Bitcoin is in the mining of Bitcoin. You see, so the only thing that a quantum computer can do to to Bitcoin is mine coins even faster than a normal computer, but they can't break Bitcoin because there's no cryptography to break. Now, I used to hear Bitcoiners say that all the time. Oh, Bitcoin is not crypto. And I used to be like, well, what's the big deal? Like, why are they, making such a big deal about it? But it actually is a big deal. So that's for all you guys that have Bitcoin. Okay. So if you have Bitcoin and you're worried about quantum computing, don't worry because I got it directly from Satoshi himself in the white paper. If you take the time to read the white paper, you will understand this. Okay? So these chains will have to implode, ladies and gentlemen, because crypto does have cryptography. That's why in the world of digital assets, we say Bitcoin and altcoins. What does alt mean? Alternative, of course. Alternative to what? Alternative to Bitcoin because Bitcoin is not crypto. But if it is crypto, which is short for cryptography, if it is a cryptographic digital coin, when quantum computers come around, then yes, cryptos will be in trouble because their cryptography can be broken. The wallets that are based upon that cryptography and private keys can be broken, ladies and gentlemen. So this is where Asentum is addressing that problem. You see, it says here, the problem. Every major blockchain securing value today signs transactions with ECDSA or ED25519. What the hell does that mean? Well, doesn't matter because both schemes rest on the discrete logarithm problem being hard. In 1994, Peter Shor proved that a sufficiently large quantum computers can solve that problem in polynomial time, not weaken it, but break it, ladies and gentlemen. So yes, yeah, you're kind of getting, you can go here and you can read all of this stuff yourself. I'm not going to sit here and read the whole thing to you. I mean, you guys know how to read, so I'm not going to go through this whole thing, but I just wanted to introduce you to that. But stay tuned because we are going to go and it says here like you can become a validator with this, you know and you can especially like if you happen to have a Raspberry Pi. I actually have two brand new Raspberry Pis around here somewhere, and I haven't messed with them in months. But I'm going to find those suckers, and I'm actually going to spin me up a note at some point too. I got two brand new Raspberry Pis, and I haven't done a thing with them, but I will. I especially since this is here, and I can actually use my Raspberry Pi to spin up a validator node here, and become even more a part of this network. So let's go here, and this actually I want to show it to you from here. You know, let's actually get rid of this. Okay. Let's get rid of that one. Matter of fact, let's even get rid of this one. Okay. And let's take it here from X because I want to show you guys how to navigate from X here. Okay. So if you go to @Asentum on X, formerly known as Twitter, everybody still calls it Twitter. So Elon, you just change the name back. It's everybody still calls it Twitter. And it says here on this second post here, we built the first network now the token that powers it is going live at the earliest stages, and it's the ASC, the ACE, pre-sale has just begun. 10% bonus, ready to participate, and here is the link right here, ladies and gentlemen. So go to Twitter, you know, find this, do a search and do @Asentum. It'll take you here. And once you get here, you can go here. You can read some of the stuff, the docs that I was just reading to learn more about it. And there's the testnet, which is live here. But if we want to go to the pre-sale, I suggest you come here to this second post and click on Asentum, .com pre-sale. But before we go there, it looks like they have a little video here. Let's actually check out this video. Well, let me cut this music I have in the background. The blockchain will collapse. Shores outlook everything will break. Day zero, the only answer to Qauntum. No gatekeepers, no data center. Join the H3 sale. Very nice. And that's just what we are going to do, guys. So let's go on. Let's click on over here. And I put a couple of dollars aside for this. Now, here is where this is the meat and potatoes, guys. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you guys stay to the end because you're not doing it for my benefit. I already know this. I'm doing this for you guys so you can fulfill your aspirations. So what I did is I went over here and I went to my Rabby wallet, right? And I came over here and I have several wallets here. And I actually dedicated an entire wallet, and you can see it's named Asentum there. And I like Rabby because what I did is I have MetaMask here. And what I did is I took my MetaMask wallets. I have several, as you can see. And I imported my MetaMask wallets into Rabby because every once in a while, MetaMask will be able to do something that Rabby cannot. But 95 to 98% of the time, Rabby does what I needed to do. And also, Rabby, the Rabby wallet here, it automatically switches your blockchains most times. Not every single time, but most times, 99% of the times. When you go to a website, and as you can see, I have many things going up here from Solana to CC Network to Hyperliquid to this one to that one. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, whatever. But when I use my Rabby wallet for all of these EVM blockchains or SVM, meaning Solana Virtual Machine, Rabby automatically switches to that blockchain. And then, of course, this is why you see I have the Phantom wallet because, Rabby doesn't hold or utilize Solana, which is SVM. Rabby only does EVM, which is Ethereum Virtual Machine blockchains. So I like to use Rabby most of the time, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so let's take a look. All right, we have the pre-sale here, and let's just do a quick refresh. Let's hit the magic button of DeFi, known as the refresh button. That's what I call it, the magic button of DeFi. And we're going to connect our wallets, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to go over here, and we're going to select Rabby because I've already have a wallet, and it says, saying, please process the alert before, it's alerting me because I have software here protecting me. So I'm just going to ignore that. It says, no, I know what I'm doing. You guys can go ahead and connect. It's all good, And it says connection can be declined if previous request is still active. Okay. And we'll just click off of that. Now let's go and let's try again. And we're going to go here. And it looks as if we are connected now, ladies and gentlemen. As a matter of fact, we are. All right. So we go here and let's just click and let's just scroll down. And we have here, 0.5 ETH. your contribution, you pay. Now let's see how much ETH we actually have in our wallet. I put about $100 to the side here. And if we click on Ethereum right here, we are looking at 0.045. So let's see if they'll let us do that. 0.04. And let's do 0.02. All right. And let's see if they'll let us do it, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, my software is going to scan the website to make sure there's no, how should I say, wallet draining scripts attached to what we're involved in, because you attach to some of these scripts and there's wallet draining things there. So my software is always looking out for me. All right. And so it's secured with Safe Wallet, so you can secure this. Transaction is complete. So it looks like it went through, ladies and gentlemen. And it looks like we are in the house. Look at that. Contribution received. You sent 0.42 ETH, allocated 67,200 ACE. And I can come here and I can track my claim. I can view the transaction on Ethereum. And it's all good. So when the main net goes live, because this is its own blockchain, it is, according to the documentation of what I read thus far, it is not a layer 2, ladies and gentlemen. This will be a layer 1 all on its own, And when the main net goes live, I will make another video and we will, continue to develop. We will take these tokens. We will get more tokens, of course, in time. We will stake them. We will validate them. And I will keep you guys posted on what's really, really good on this blockchain. But like I said, you are free to go on over here to X and or Twitter or, whatever, man. I really hate X. I really hate that name. They should just call it Twitter, as I said. But anyway, you go on over here to X, and if you want to get involved, go ahead and get involved. And never ever invest more than you're willing to lose, ladies and gentlemen, because this whole thing could blow up in your face. Why do you think that I created a completely separate wallet, separate from all my other wallets? Because if this thing blows up in my face, it's like, okay, I lost $100. So what? But I don't think so, ladies and gentlemen. I think these guys are thoroughly serious about what they say they intend to do. And I really I like the idea of this post-quantum JavaScript blockchain, especially since I'm learning Linux as well. And this coincides directly in the direction I am going, ladies and gentlemen. So with that, you already know, ladies and gentlemen, let's continue to go on ahead and get this crypto.